transition from stage 1 to stage 2 of retirement planning. Reduce your risk to avoid large losses. Generate the dependable income you need to live your best retirement life. Manage costs like taxes and fees. Hedge against inflation. Make the best Social Security decisions. You can pay several $1,000s for a plan like this, but we will provide it to you for free. There is no hidden agenda. We're confident we can help you make this needed transition at this time in your life and help you stop worrying about your money so much. Our clients typically have $2 million or more assets saved for retirement, but we can work with you as long as you've saved at least $1 million. Dial pound 250 on your cell phone and say the keyword money. That's pound 250 on your cell phone and say the keyword money. This offer is available right now, so call us today at pound 250 and say the keyword money.
Investment advisory services are offered through Fiduciary Solutions, LLC, a California registered investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results, and securities may lose value. Insurance products and services are offered through PFFA Insurance Agency, LLC, California Insurance License Number 0N14013, and Ahmed California Insurance License Number 0732913, and Jim Files California Insurance License Number 0F06511.
Armstrong and Getty, weekdays 6 till 10 at Sacramento's best rock and roll all day. And iHeart's radio station, Talk 650 KSB, Rancho Cordova, Sacramento. This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting. I'm Christopher Cruz in Washington. It's the kind of heat that can kill. It's 20 to 25 degrees hotter in the Northeast today than it usually is this time of the year. CBS News meteorologist David Parkinson.
Got a heat advisory in effect for most of the major cities in the Northeast. This is the first May heat advisory issued by the New York office as long as we've been keeping the records, and that's going back more than about 16 years. So this is really some serious, dangerous heat.
But in the West, a major snowstorm is just now coming to an end, although the National Weather Service says snow will linger over parts of the Colorado Rockies into tonight. And late word, there's a freeze warning now in effect for parts of North Dakota. The death toll has increased in northern Michigan after a tornado roared through last night.
Officials in Gaylord report now 2 people are dead after a tornado tore through the northern Michigan town on Friday.
I watched as officers and paramedics and firemen stepped over arcing lines, went into partially collapsed buildings. Truly inspiring behavior out of them to serve our citizens.
Gaylord Police Chief Frank Calais says the third person remains unaccounted for, and up to 40 other people are injured. Mike Camp for CBS News today.
At least a dozen homes are just gone, and now the National Weather Service says it's rated the tornado an EF3 with maximum winds of 140 miles an hour. Business and North Korea were the topics of discussion between President Biden and South Korea's new president today. CBS's Nancy Cordes is traveling with Mr. Biden.
The centerpiece of the president's Asia trip comes on Monday, when he unveils a new economic framework for the U.S. and Indo-Pacific allies. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, traveling with the president, says the partnership will enable participating nations to make joint investments in infrastructure and better share data about supply chains.
This is America showing up again in the region and saying we want to work with you and in a way that benefits America and American business.
Boeing's new spacecraft has arrived at its destination, something it hadn't been able to do before.
Just over 24 hours after its Florida launch,
Starliner connected to the forward port of the International Space Station.
that's something the Boeing spacecraft couldn't do during its first flight 3 years ago. Measured approach to the station included various tests of flight hardware and software. Starliner was able to overcome problems with 2 thruster rockets and its cooling system. If all continues to go well, the first astronauts could fly the Starliner by the end of this year. Peter King, CBS News, Orlando.
And this is CBS News.
There's always something new under the sun. CBS Mornings, weekdays on CBS.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS's giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. A street on the Fort Hamilton Army base in New York City has been renamed for a hero.
It was named after Confederate General Robert E. Lee. Now it's named for Black Congressional Medal of Honor recipient John Warren. Warren was awarded the honor posthumously after he was killed in Vietnam in 1969. Lieutenant Warren was from Brooklyn, New York. He died when he fell in the direction of a grenade and shielded at least 3 men from the blast. He was 22 years old. Lindsay Kenyon, CBS News.
Prepare the Army to fight wars that may look little like the wars of today. That's the charge today for graduating cadets at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point from the nation's top military officer, the Army General and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley. His speech to the next generation of the Army's leaders painted a picture of a world that's becoming more unstable, with great powers intent on changing the global order. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
It's where the conversation begins. This is Talk 650, KSDE. The following is a paid program. The views and opinions expressed are solely those of the hosts and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff, management, and parent company of KSDE. Welcome to Guarding Your Nest Egg with Mike Lester.
Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. We are so thankful you carved out a few minutes to be with us on the radio. My name is Kristen Charles, and we are right here in the Talon Wealth Studios. And alongside Mike Lester every week, relaying what you need to know about your financial life. As you get closer to retirement or already there, and goodness knows there has been financial news like crazy in recent days. But don't get overwhelmed by that. Mike's going to break all of that down for you in a simple fashion so that you know how it impacts you near and in retirement, especially. That's who Mike and the team at Talon Wealth focus on helping every single day. You can find out more anytime at guardingyournestegg.com, or if you've got questions and would like to find out about getting a complete financial plan done for you, something we at Talon Wealth, well, the advisors actually do complimentary for our listeners. Again, a $1,500 value at no cost for you and your family across the Sacramento area. 916-545-6000. 916-545-6000.
Kristen, you just you set us up with ZZ Top.
Yes.
Then you went into the disclaimer and phone number. I mean, you're teasing everybody. You're like, hey, here's some ZZ Top, get everybody interested, and then it went downhill from there.
Well, the market's crazy right now with all this news, and we got to get to the nitty-gritty.
All right, I'd rather listen to ZZ Top than talk about the market, but let's go.
Are you trying to tell people not to listen to our show, Mike?
No, but
Okay.
I like ZZ Top. Yeah,
I do too.
one. Yeah, I did. I was happen to know Billy Gibbons is big into classic cars, and I ran into him at an airport one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I digress. Let's talk about boring and it's not that it's not exciting. Let's talk
it's
about
exciting.
stress. Let's get into stress. Let's talk about the market and people's portfolios and
Inflation and all this stuff.
inflation and politics. And
I can't believe this. After accounting for inflation, total compensation cost for American civilian workers, again, not government employees, declined 3.7% over the past 12 months. And this is according to the Employment Cost Index report. So inflation's killing us. We've got what I'm going to call Wall Street whiplash happening, and the uncertainty with geopolitical tensions continuing. I mean, the S&P 500 off to its worst start of the year since 1939.
and raising interest rates. Mike, all this added up is a lot of stress. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I do when I get stressed out? I have that nervous laugh, kind of like
Yes, you
our
do.
First Lady. Every time you ask her a really serious question, she does that weird cackle thing.
You're so Jill Biden.
No,
To be Dr. Jill Biden.
No, but you say something and you get that nervous, like, I mean.
Well, okay, serious question, and I don't think it's going to make you nervous because you're a very straightforward guy.
No, I'm pretty level-minded. Okay, go ahead.
With all of this happening, this Wall Street whiplash, should average investors listening today be thinking about selling and sitting on the sidelines, or maybe just take a deep breath, wait for things to settle out a little bit?
Kristen, as far as selling, staying, waited out, markets have sold off quite a bit. Depending on where you're currently at, you need to do an analysis of, first of all, it's a taxable account, things like trust accounts, individual accounts, joint accounts. Take into consideration, I think markets are probably down from here, but also if you sell, you're paying taxes, and then, moving forward, what happens if markets don't come back? That's more complicated. If you're in a 401k, IRA, TSP, any one of those accounts where we can make trades in the account without any tax ramifications, I think you probably want to make some changes right now. We feel markets will be even lower 6 months out, maybe a year from now. Why write it down? Why hang in there? Look at actively managed portfolios. It's not easy to be an average investor, and an average doesn't have to do with the size of your portfolio.
Right.
It doesn't have to do with how smart you are. It doesn't have to do with your job or anything else. It just has to do
Being a regular person.
A regular person and your lifestyle. So your average investor doesn't spend the majority of their time analyzing their investments, trying to figure out the next step, wondering about inflation, wondering about this, wondering about that, trying to pick stocks based on value, growth, dividends, what have you. I mean, all of these things are, it's not that they're complicated, but your average investor doesn't do that. Your average investor wants to either get up, work, get paid, make contributions, take care of their family, or the people that we work with are, I'm retired or getting close to retirement, I want to stay that way. How do I maintain my lifestyle with all this craziness adjusted for inflation and taxes and just government? And then going back to, either I'm working with someone who told me to hang in there and not worry about it, doesn't feel very good, or I'm sitting here in a 401k with no active management, no advice, and wondering what my options are. So we've been doing this radio show for a long time. The goal is to just be a voice to individuals that probably aren't working with somebody who actively manages portfolios. Probably they're not working with a fiduciary, a fee-only advisor who has a vested interest in them doing well. Most of the people that come in and visit with us for the first time, again, not our clients, they know what we're all about, but most of the people who come visit with us for the first time are just curious, and I think that makes sense. Wondering what it's like to work with a financial advisor. Is there a value to it? How much is the fee? Are they going to try to sell me something? All of these things, let's face it, Kristen, we're on the radio talking about this every single week. If you hear us and we throw the phone number or the website out there, they're going to go, hey, what's the catch? It's very hard for you and I to explain to people that there's not a catch. All I can tell you is there's no cost to coming in and meeting with us. I can tell you that we're fee-only fiduciaries. We have a vested interest in you doing well. We don't sell financial products, and we're not compensated through commissions or fees on selling a product. If you decide we're providing value, then you would hire us to manage your portfolio for a fixed percentage. That percentage would be based on how much value we're providing. And if we're not providing value, there's really no reason for you to work with us, but you're going to find that out during the meeting. Because the way I look at it is the worst case scenario for anybody who calls up and just wants to come in and kick the tires is they're going to get an analysis of their current portfolio. They're going to find out where they currently stand and what's likely to happen. You're going to get some advice on what we would do if we were in your situation. You're going to get a written financial plan that you walk out of our office with. And you'll have the opportunity to work with us if you want to. But if you don't want to work with us and you don't see value, you just walk away with all of that information. I just feel like it's our job, and what I like to do is put our best foot forward, give you the opportunity to come in and see what we're all about. And if you feel like we're providing value, you can hire us. If we're not providing value, don't hire us. But at the end of the day, it's just a phone call.
Find out if there is value for you in a complete financial plan. Call now, listening in and around Sacramento. 916-545-6000. 916-545-6000. Are you receiving true value from your advisor? Especially during a time like this, you should at least be getting active management at minimum. Check your accounts. If you don't see that happening or you feel that you're not getting the attention you should, reach out for that complete financial plan. It just takes 2 or 3 minutes to set up. You will speak to Steve, Mike, or another team member off the air, and they'll set that up complimentary. Connect to us and find out more anytime by visiting guardingyournestegg.com. According to a recent Gallup poll, inflation is one of the biggest worries for many of us right now. I could have told you that. Anyway, the Federal Reserve says fighting inflation is the central bank's #1 job.
Before I go into the details of today's meeting, I'd like to take this opportunity to speak directly to the American people. Inflation is much too high, and we understand the hardship it is causing, and we're moving expeditiously to bring it back down. We have both the tools we need and the resolve that it will take to restore price stability on behalf of American families and businesses. The economy and the country have been through a lot over the past 2 years and have proved resilient.
To me, it's interesting that anyone who speaks on behalf of the Fed sounds so monotone that you want to go to sleep. But it's also interesting that Chairman Jerome Powell spoke directly to us, saying that, hey, we know what you're dealing with, and we're on top of it. One of the inflation-fighting tools that he referenced is adjusting the interest rate, and in this case, it's going up by 0.5 percentage point. Mike, as a fiduciary fee-only financial advisor, what are the pros and cons of this hike for everyday Americans that are listening today?
What I'd say right off the bat is, can you tell they're nervous?
Yeah.
I mean, they are nervous. The poll numbers are not good, and I don't know why. I mean, you would think they would figure this out a few months back when the poll numbers were horrific. Honestly, I think they thought the poll numbers would get better with this war in Ukraine and Russia. I think they thought they'd get some points there. And so it's come back to, let's distract them with Ukraine, let's do this, let's do that. Nope, the American people are still really focused on, guess what, grocery stores, gas prices, rent. It's affecting people. They haven't been able to get away from it as hard as they tried with all these distractions. And now at this point, their priority is this. So now they're going to speak directly to the public. And of course, Biden comes out and has a meeting. Kristen, I think it's just too late to save it. I mean, they'd really, really like to rein this in come November and make it better for everybody. But now I think they know it's too late. And now they're sitting there going, well, we at least need to make it look like we tried to do something, because we are getting hammered.
I think you're right.
And they are getting hammered on it. So, Kristen, politics aside, it's a part of what we do. Long-term politics don't make that big of a difference when it comes to investing. But there's a reason we got conservative with our client accounts. We moved to conservative portfolios on anything that was an IRA or Roth IRA first part of 2022, because we can do that without tax consequences. Full disclosure, on accounts that there were tax consequences, we can't be as active there because you're causing taxation to people, so it's an individual conversation with each client. But even, over a month ago, on those accounts, just looking at what was going on, we moved to cash. And so what that means for our clients in that situation with their IRAs and the Roths, again, taxable accounts, things like individual accounts, trust accounts, joint accounts, things where the transactions in themselves are taxable. It's a little harder, so different situation. But we didn't have to be in a situation, and active management to me means, all right, I am looking at this, I don't have a crystal ball, it doesn't look good, let's go ahead and do something about it for our clients. What I know about our clients is they're individuals that are either retired or very close to it. They're more willing to give a proportion of gains than they are to take big losses. So we made a move. We got conservative. At this point, it turned out to be the right move. Kristen, a few months from now, I don't know, but I recommend individuals and retirees work with advisors that have a vested interest in them doing well moving forward.
Our team at Talon Wealth can help you manage your money and create a true income plan, spending plan that helps you easily transition from saving and investing in that mindset to living, thriving, and paying yourself and enjoying your lifestyle in retirement at no charge for you, our listeners, across the Sacramento area. 916-545-6000. 916-545-6000. You're not going to believe the world record involving work that was just broken. We'll discuss that and what you need to keep in mind when it comes to your workplace retirement accounts. And you'll also find out why it's getting personal with Social Security next on Guarding Your Nest Egg. Wake up, brush your teeth, get dressed, drive to work, get to the office, and realize you don't even know how you got there. Yep, it seems while we're working, we're operating on autopilot. And while that may be okay when it comes to the 9 to 5, autopilot won't work for your portfolio, especially when you stop working. So take advantage of a complimentary complete financial plan from Mike Lester and his team at Talon Wealth Management. Visit guardingyournestegg.com.
If it's on your mind,
It's just frustrating.
it's on Talk 650.
Hi, John McGinnis here. You're listening to Guarding Your Nest Egg Radio with Mike Lester. If you're like me, recent volatility in the markets has you paying very close attention to your investments and are wondering if your current portfolio may be at risk when and if we see a major correction, especially if you're close to retirement. Many investment portfolios have seen substantial gains in the last few years, but that could all change and change very, very quickly. Mike Lester and his team at Talon Wealth Management are offering a free portfolio analysis and stress test. It's absolutely free and will give you an idea of how your portfolio is likely to react if the market turns. To get this free analysis, simply call Mike and his team now at 916-545-6000. That's 916-545-6000. Give them a call. They'll be glad you did. To get this free analysis, simply call Mike and his team now at 916-545-6000.
Investment advisory services offered through Talon Private Wealth, LLC.
Guarding Your Nest Egg with Mike Lester.
Like most songs written and recorded by Jimmy Buffett, this is about escaping reality. It's also one of his more popular songs that he plays at almost every show. Let's talk
He
about...
doesn't play it at every show?
No, that he does.
This one, Cheeseburger in Paradise.
Margaritaville,
What's your
of course.
favorite one?
I mean, you can't go wrong with Margaritaville, but this is actually one of my favorites because it's about traveling.
I like Son of a Sailor.
That's a good one.
Pirate Turns 40. That's probably my favorite.
You're a Buffett fan. Are you Caribbean?
I've been to one Jimmy Buffett concert in my entire life, and for those who listen to the show a lot, I grew up in Florida. Not that that means you're Virginia, but no, it's just, I like him quite a bit. But I like it when songs tell a story, right? So, Cheeseburger in Paradise, maybe not, you know, but if I blew up my flip-flops up on a pop top,
Yeah.
that's a little better.
So with that one being about escaping reality, having a change in latitude and a change in attitude as a result, for you, Mike, what's your favorite spot to escape when you're looking for a change in perspective? It could be just you, yourself, or you, Katie, and the family.
If I'm going to unplug, you can't argue with the keys. Florida Keys are, it's a lifestyle. It's not fancy, you know, it's not Hawaii. Not that Hawaii's fancy all the time, Hawaii's gorgeous, but it's just laid back and flip-flops. And,
There's no dress code.
no dress code. I mean, I do shower every day, but if you didn't in the Keys, it wouldn't really matter. Okay, but it would notice. So that kind of an environment is inviting to me.
And your kids love it too. What kid would not love showering being optional and flip-flops everywhere you go?
They like brushing their teeth being optional, which is,
Well,
I mean,
that's
not
a
just
whole
showering.
different
Yeah, it's a whole other thing. Okay.
We can all dream about escaping, and we know that many of you are. Travel numbers definitely up, so I hope you're enjoying the vacation plans you have ahead. I want to tell you a story about a man by the name of Walter Ortman. He is from Brazil. He recently broke the world record for the longest time working for the same company in over 84 years. According to USA Today, he got a job at 15 as a shipping assistant for a textile company and was soon promoted to sales because he did a good job. Eventually became sales manager. In fact, that's a position he has held ever since. Now, he's 100 years old.
Owns the company.
No, but he's still there with the company, and the head of sales. Certainly not common to have that type of tenure at a company, at least in the United States of America. But here most of us work for a few different companies throughout our careers, which means we're likely going to accumulate a few 401ks or other retirement accounts along the way. What should our listeners keep in mind concerning their personal retirement accounts that they have through their employers now and from the past?
Well, I think for most people, their current retirement plan is the one that they're most focused on. So we talk about this a lot on the radio show, but the Human Resources Department will ask you how much do you want to contribute, and they'll explain to you what your match is, and they'll give you this
Approaching a railroad crossing.
Investment options, and it's just kind of it's pretty cookie cutter. We talk about it on the program a lot, Kristen. I mean, I'd say not 100% of the time, but probably the most common investment, and again, every listeners who have a 401k or know what I'm talking about, they'll see something called a target date fund. It doesn't necessarily say target date, but it'll be the 2025 or the 2030 or the 2035 fund. And the idea is, well, just invest in something that is going to be targeted to when you're likely to retire. And if you've been listening to our program for a while, you'll know that we're not big fans of those. They don't really care what the stock market's doing. They don't really care what the economy's doing. All they care about is your target retirement date, and they just move investments to more conservative accounts, and those conservative accounts are typically bonds. And well, with interest rates moving up, I think they'll likely continue moving up. That's probably not the greatest investment right now, because bonds tend to go in the opposite direction of interest rates. So you got to be careful there. But when considering the retirement accounts that are available to you, consider your options, Kristen, first of all, but then also consider your age. So a lot of times when we're working, we'll feel sort of captive to your company's retirement plan. And I've talked to, and our other advisors talk to people every single week that continue to contribute to a retirement plan, regardless of where markets are going, because maybe they're getting a match or they're just dollar cost averaging in. They're not spending a lot of time looking at the allocation options in there because nobody's offered to help. But there are certain key dates. So, first of all, most retirement plans, not all, but most retirement plans through your employer, things like, again, 401ks, 403b accounts, TSP accounts, they will allow you to seek out actively managed portfolios or portfolio options or investment options outside of your company retirement plan once you reach the age of 59 and a half. So that's kind of a barometer. But some plans will allow you to pull it out sooner. So I would encourage anybody who's at least 55 sitting there looking at their retirement plans through work and their options through work. If you haven't reached out, if you haven't looked at what potentially are their options, again, you don't have to stop working for this company. You can just look at, a lot of times, the ability to have it actively managed, additional investment options. Is there any value in having it actively managed? What are your goals moving forward? Because I just had this conversation with one of our existing clients, and we've been managing what was in a 401k. They moved it over to a managed account with us, which technically would be an IRA. And basically they said, hey, listen, I have very limited investment options within my 401k. I've built that balance up again. Full disclosure, in his case, again, I'm not comparing it to anything else, so there could be other cases out there where this is not the case. But in his situation, our managed account is outperforming his 401k account at work. And so he's looking at it going, well, if I can move more into managed account with you guys, then I want to do that. Well, he's in a situation where he can. So basically it's a phone call, it's already set up, we're moving a portion of his 401k over into his managed account because it has been, I guarantee the future to continue, but in this case, he has more confidence in us than he does in his current 401k account. And I'd recommend to anyone, look at managed options, look at more investment options, find out what's available to you when it comes to your retirement savings, because many times, not all the time, many times, there are better options out there, but you don't know if it's better unless you do the comparison, and so that's why you should give us a call.
916-545-6000. 916-545-6000. A complete financial plan, just a phone call away. And if you can hear us on the air, that means we have an office very convenient to you. Call now, speak to Steve or Mike off the air, and set that up complimentary. Most of us would rather speak to a real person if we're making a phone call rather than go through an automated system. By the way, that happens when you call regarding your nest egg radio and Talon Wealth Management. And then very often, most of us would rather have an in-person, face-to-face conversation rather than deal